What's up, Philly? It's Santa EROCK here to brighten up your holiday spirits with another Eagles Top 5 rundown. Now, 'tis the season for giving, and you know that's my favorite part, so this week I'm giving you the top 5 Eagles single-game performances in franchise history. Number 5 on our countdown is an Eagles running back that tore apart the Dallas Cowboys special teams. On Dallas, on Philly, to Timmy they kicked him. Not once, not twice, tried to make tackles but missed them. Timmy Brown became the first player in NFL history to return 2 kickoffs for touchdowns in the same game. The first was a 93-yarder set up by some fine blocking from Ollie Madsen and Ron Medved. The second was a 90-yard scamper through heavy traffic, leaving Cowboys kick coverage diving for Brown's heels. The Eagles went on to win 24-23, thanks in large part to Brown's historic returns. Reggie White was a legendary player, arguably the greatest defensive end to ever play in the NFL. But on a special day in 1991, it was the guy on the other side of the defensive line that wrote his name into the Eagles record books. Clyde Simmons set an Eagles record with 4.5 sacks against the Dallas Cowboys in a 24-0 rout on September 15, 1991. The Eagles as a team recorded 11 sacks on quarterback Troy Aikman and physically abused the Cowboys' offensive line time and time again. That season, 3 Eagles defensive linemen made the Pro Bowl: Simmons, Reggie White, and Jerome Brown. Former defensive coordinator Bud Carson later called Clyde Simmons the smartest defensive lineman he's ever been around. Here's a little Eagles trivia for you. Who was the first running back to rush for over 200 yards in a game? It was Steve Van Buren, 1949. It took 50 years for another Eagles running back to accomplish that feat, which is why it's number 3 on our countdown. Deuce Staley became just the second running back in Eagles history to gain 200 yards rushing in a single game, when the Birds demolished the Cowboys 41-14. Staley was in beast mode, breaking tackles and finishing runs with punishing force. He also caught 4 passes and a touchdown, accumulating 262 yards from scrimmage. The Eagles' commanding victory ignited a decade of winning for the franchise. Number 2 on our rundown is an entire defensive unit. And I know what you're thinking. Did he just say an entire defensive unit? Yes. Well, let me explain. The Eagles' defense made history in 1965 when they recorded 9 interceptions against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jim Nettles, Maxie Baughan, and ex-Steeler George Tarasovich each returned a pick for a touchdown, and Nettles grabbed 3 of the 9 interceptions alone. On a demoralizing day for Steelers quarterbacks, 6 different Eagles intercepted passes, totaling 165 return yards, and the unit tallied 12 turnovers in a 47-13 shellacking. The Eagles' 9 interceptions on the day tied an NFL record. This is a guy who definitely made the nice list. Nice list, let's face it, he made the awesome list. He put up the most fantasy points of any player since the NFL-AFL merger, which is why he is number 1 on our rundown of the top game performances of all time. Michael Vick's Superman act against the Washington Redskins in 2010 will go down as the greatest game an Eagle has ever had. Vick threw for 300-plus yards and 4 touchdowns and rushed for 88 yards and 2 scores. He was 20 for 28 with a quarterback rating of 150. The Eagles' offense scored on their first 5 possessions with Vick at the helm, and the unit put up almost 600 yards for the game. The Eagles' 59-28 victory over the Redskins catapulted Michael Vick into the MVP race, and many pundits called his performance one of the greatest ever. Well, Eagles fans, I gotta split. I gotta be down your chimneys in a couple of minutes because I know you all made the nice list because you kept bleeding green and you never gave up on your team. And will you tell the national media once and for all that I forgive you for throwing snowballs at me?